The voters and residents of the Village of North Bennington are hereby notified and warned to meet at the Village Depot offices at 7 p.m. on August 11th, 2015 for a special meeting. Warning for a special meeting to be held on August 11th, 2015 at 7 in the afternoon at the North Bennington Village offices to validate the action of the meeting held on March 3rd, 2015 for the purpose of re-adoption of changes to the North Bennington Charter. And the action to be considered: shall the action taken at the meeting of the Village of North Bennington held on March 3rd, 2013 be readopted, ratified, and confirmed in spite of the fact that the warning of the meeting was not published in a newspaper of general circulation in the municipality at least 5 days before the meeting. Filed by Laureen L. Will, Village Clerk, Village of North Bennington. What we're voting on is not the charter itself. We've done that and it passed handily. But the final word on charter changes is the state legislature. And in reviewing our request, they discovered that while the vote had been well warned, it hadn't been warned in a newspaper, which the law requires. So basically what we're doing is saying that we as a village still affirm that we wish to have the charter changed, but acknowledge that it was not properly warned and have corrected that. So this meeting was warned 3 times in the Bennington Banner, as well as in other places around the village. So we meet the warning requirement, and all we need to do is vote that we acknowledge that it wasn't done 100% properly the first time around, but that the sense of the matter is that the village clearly indicated that they were approving the changes. So, are there questions?
As there's no one in the audience, I don't think there's any. We just need to move to ratify.
I just think it's interesting to point out that even though this was on the front page of the banner twice, it wasn't in the public notice section, and that's what's required by the state statute.
First time around, yes.
Right, the first time around, so, which is the one section of the paper nobody ever reads.
They got the good quote out of me last month on that one.
But that's what the old statute says, so that's what we messed up on. Now, does this mean, just for clarity, that the legislature hasn't voted on this?
No, they
So it would be
postponed
to have to go to
voting
the
on
next
it.
session before
That's
it can be
correct.
officially
Right.
approved.
That's right.
And should they do it prior to our March meeting, then it would, the changes regarding board terms and stuff would probably likely be in effect, but otherwise they wouldn't be.
That's right, and I don't know how quickly.
So we'll encourage them to try to get
We'll
that
try
done
to get it
in January.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to what? Adopt, ratify, clarify,
Well,
To reaffirm?
reaffirm.
well, I think the motion is, shall the action taken at the meeting of the Village of North Bennington held on March 3rd, 2015, and any action of the municipal officers or agents pursuant thereto be readopted, ratified, and confirmed.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Maybe we're done
So
now.
let's try it again. Take 2.
First item, let's close a motion to close the special meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll open our regular meeting with a review and approval of the minutes of the July 7 meeting.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And easy. Next item, citizen comments, and I think this would be a time for Galen to,
Do you want to do the
or do you want to?
warrant?
Oh, let's do the warrant, how about? I'm anxious to move on. Who has a copy of that?
So, we got a couple different. And I'm curious, and I
July
didn't-
came accidentally.
okay, so
right?
this one we don't,
We already did July,
We did
right?
July, yes.
because it was an abbreviated version of, right, okay, so
you
that's
need
nothing.
You need the one that came out this afternoon.
Okay.
The two that came this afternoon,
I
yes.
have that one, okay.
2 being the
There was a payroll warrant.
payroll, okay.
And a expense warrant.
So we're doing the,
Anybody have any questions about those?
I just had a couple quick disregarding parks.
There's one
So the
right on the back
ones-
of that page.
Under parks, we have one for, so the Pembroke, I assume that's down at, for weed application, did they do the park?
What?
There's a paid out to, for $378.25 for weed application to Pembroke, under parks.
Herbicide.
I'm sure they sprayed
Yeah, okay.
hard. I mean, that building didn't come across my desk.
The,
Should it have?
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure, you know, it could have been, yeah.
It was a weed application on Water Street. Is that what you're asking?
I was on Water Street?
I believe so.
What do they do, sidewalks or the wall or something?
So I'm just curious why that would come
They
under
do, they
parks.
spray for bamboo all around the town.
It's Pembroke's for $378.25 for weed application, but it's under parks. I was just wondering why it's under parks if they sprayed sidewalks.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And maybe it just went there because we would assume that weed application was in a park.
That's true.
I'm assuming somebody assumed. And then there's another one for tent pins for LNG fabricators.
Yeah, that's for the,
Big tent.
for the,
Herring.
For the
Aaron
Aaron?
and for Matt.
Okay, still wonder, why would that fall under the parks?
Cause it's kinda like Perrin. We all took a little shot on that one.
Mark,
Yes,
it says weed application. And so I thought park. But
Okay.
There's not any other clarification.
all right. Do you want me to check with Pembroke to see what it was?
Sure.
I can do that.
If you can verify that it was,
Sidewalks, it
It was-
shouldn't
We
be.
can certainly change
If
that.
it was spraying
It's
for-
not-
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, that's an
if
easy.
we did
Oh, yeah,
that, if
that's
we did that
certainly easy.
path again down on the park, I'd
That's what I was
understand that,
wondering,
but
'cause
if
I wasn't
it's- if
sure
it's
that-
something else, I would,
But I don't think he would do that on his own, because I usually have to ask him to do it to do that.
Right.
So if nobody asked him to
I'm
do
sure
it.
it's for the road.
Okay,
so maybe we would ask, well, you can verify if you'd like, or do you want to just assume that maybe that ought to go into a different category?
yeah, no, if somebody knows for a fact that we asked him to spray the roads, and that's what he did, then I don't think I have to check up with him.
No, we do. We asked him to spray the road.
Let's
Okay.
recategorize
So that
that
just needs to come out
into,
of parks.
He does do
The
a little bit
highway.
of the parks, and he does all the paths and around the building and stuff like that, but. Yeah, I don't know if it's broken out or what.
While we're talking about Pembroke, I'd like to point out that all the shrubbery and the trees and everything in the Lincoln Square, he donated all that.
that was huge.
That was fantastic.
That's a big donation.
Beautiful work and a great tree. I'm jazzed
very
about the
nice.
whole thing, yeah. Thanks, Ron. So Lori, you'll change that into something else. Is there any,
If requested to do so, right, Mark?
I think we're requesting you to do it.
You are.
Because I think we
Yeah, yeah,
ver-
I think, I mean, they basically said it was the road, so there's no reason to check up if we know it was the roads.
Roads. Yeah, done.
Any other questions about the main warrant? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept it.
That's all I have.
I'll move that we approve the warrant with that change to just the classing of that item at Pembroke.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the payroll warrant?
I'll move we accept the payroll warrant.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have any other special?
That's it.
Citizen comments, Galen.
My time.
Yep.
So I'm here today for the library, John Culver Library. We are doing an installation project, and we applied for some USDA funds, and we need to get evidence of community support in order to be granted those funds. There's a form, they would like,
It can go right on over there.
I'll look at it, I can put an extra copy. Basically, somebody donated some money, and they'd like us to improve the building and do an installation project, which should basically pay for itself and save the oil. We're just trying to get the USDA to match a little bit of it.
There's no problem here, and just for clarification, you were under new business, we'll make sure that we note that, just so that any decision we make is related to something on the itinerary, on the agenda, whereas citizen comments wouldn't be, but that's fine. Just to get you in and out. Any discussion about this?
I think it's great.
Yeah,
a
it
great-
seems like a,
Is it just the ceiling? You're doing the attic?
Yeah, we're just doing the attic at this time. We had a thermal house came in, they did a whole energy efficiency study several years ago, and the number one thing was to insulate the ceiling. So we're gonna do that piece of it at this time. Well, that's what all, they called for some at the basement too, but all the heat's going up and out, not going down and out, so.
Yeah. No, that's your biggest nut, for sure.
Yeah.
I do this two different ways. Sometimes I ask that the applicant fill out the form, because they know what that needs to be said, and then we sign it.
Okay.
But if Lori's, either way, but otherwise I am gonna defer to Lori to,
It's fairly brief.
The only thing I would fill out would be that it's the John McCullough Library, and we're insulating the attic.
I guess.
and that it's an important part of our community, and it's a free, you know, and that's why we support.
So insulation of attic is what
Is
you'd
the
like
job-
as a
is the job
description of the
description,
project?
yes.
Is
Yeah.
the project,
That's
yes.
the whole project.
Yeah, this is pretty brief compared to others, so I'll do it.
Okay.
Thanks, Lori. That's it, yeah, well, do we know where to send it, or send it to you, or?
Drop it off with you? or-
Yeah, you can drop off with me.
Does it need to be signed?
There's a signature, provision of the service, no one commits our community to provide financial
Do you need
support.
all the trustees or just some?
I think there's just a line on there that somebody,
I assume.
I think you could do it on behalf of the board, our clerk, yeah. Super, good luck. Hope you can get on that quicker than, you're thinking this fall, maybe, if you
yeah,
get the,
we're into this fall.
Excellent.
very good.
Great.
Next item.
We got another comment from the citizen.
Norman had talked a
Oh,
while ago about some security for the fountain. I have a security system at the store that it records on a loop. He had a rough estimate of $2,500. He talked about mounting a camera on the front of the library that would look out over the fountain. The system I have, I think would do it. And it was less than $1,000, or about $1,000 for the whole system.
I'd say given the asset that we've put down there now, maybe that's a good
Yep.
idea.
I mean, I'd be happy to write it all up. It shouldn't cost more than a couple $100, I wouldn't think, to install.
Yeah. No, I think we should seriously
And
consider
I
it.
would, one thing I would ask here is I would even buy an extra camera to go, a second camera to go on the back of the library. In case the library had problems, then the two,
Yeah.
the front and rear would be covered on the same, on the same system and the same loop.
I've actually heard this from 2 other people this week, recommending that we think about doing something like this. Just people from the village, so.
Well, go ahead and do that, and I guess we just need to decide where we're finding the money. Is there anything left in the
Well,
fountain fund?
there's a little bit left, but we're That was allocated for lighting. So
Okay.
we don't know what that's gonna cost, so,
Okay, well,
but there could be some left over, but,
I say go ahead and do it, and we just figure out where we think it.
yeah, we're not talking a lot of money.
No, and it's costing us more anyway in time and materials to not be able to track all this
Well, our last-
vandalism.
And this is, I mean, hold on off a minute, because we need that. But we also have another spot in our community that's been vandalized several times, and the last time, it was $1,500 just to clean it up. You know, so I agree with what Galen said, you know, we're gonna do a security improvements in our village, and we need to look at a little bit bigger of a picture.
How do those systems, they don't communicate with each other, there's not a wireless,
My system, you can get on it wireless if it's hooked up to a phone line or an internet. But basically, it just sits there and nobody looks at it unless something happens. And you can go back and review. It's like a computer, you just type in what day you want to review, what time, and it pops it up and plays it for you. You can fast forward.
that helped you out a few months ago, didn't it?
Yeah, the last 2 years, I've been broken into twice, and both times it's let us know who did it right away. I mean, the last time, it went on the Bennington police put it on their website, and it went on Facebook, and the guy turned himself in within 2 days. Tired of seeing the picture. You know, I didn't recognize him, nobody came forward and said, yeah, we know it's this guy, but.
So the system, a system over here would have to be a completely separate system,
Well.
unless it's maybe a game camera type of
It would
situation?
probably be be reasonable to assume that. You know, obviously, it's a lot easier in the library, you deal. But certainly somebody who buys in the systems, Bill just said he's got an email with somebody that might have a couple different wireless things. You know, we need to investigate it a little bit.
Do it, please do it.
We have some big property that needs to be looked at. The camera deal, the game camera thing doesn't work because it takes pictures, you gotta keep going up and checking it. We're like, in a loop system, just as Galen said, it's the same we have in the other establishment that I run in Bennington. It's, you know, you don't look at it unless you got a problem. It's just, you know,
What'd you say, it's on a 30-day loop and then it just resets itself?
Yeah, it just records over after 30 days. It depends on how many cameras you put out. My system will hold 8 cameras, and I think I have 4 on it now.
Yep.
And it takes about 30 days. I get 30 days.
So it'd be more than that.
If I had more cameras, it would cut it down.
back,
Because it's more data, but
Yeah.
you can buy, it's pretty inexpensive. I mean, if you want to go from a week to a month, it's $100 or $200 for an extra bigger chip. Is all you buy.
So,
Just a brief description, there's 2 ways you can go. If you go with remote cameras, you have to have a power source where the camera is. Or you can run a cord out to the camera that hooks right up to it. It looks like a VCR, and then you have a flat screen, like a computer monitor that monitor it. And then you have a power source where that unit is stored or locked away or kept.
so it'd be on the concession stand, really?
yeah, that's what I would say. Everywhere that I think that we would install a camera, we have a power source. And maybe there's one that can house what we need in from the library, you know, that's the same size box. I mean, they don't want a thing that's the size of a file cabinet in there. And, you know, records a couple of remote cameras and we call it good. I mean, you know, but,
Now with the park though, the biggest concern we had, like, so it had like night vision, so
Yeah,
they're all infrared.
okay.
Yeah, it's got good color, daytime.
Because if you're going from the concession to where all the vandalism is happening, it'll be a tough picture unless it's,
well, yeah, because they all record on their own little, like when you're looking at them, you can see all the little windows and then you can look in a different.
Yep.
You can pick the one that you want to look at and you know, such as Galen said, you know, the loop, you know what I mean? We don't need a crazy long loop because what we're looking at, you pretty much see
You'll
it.
know within
you
48 hours if there's.
Yeah.
Right, you want it long enough where if it's on a long weekend or something, you catch it.
Do we have an agreement from Mr. Parks here that such unit that would be installed in the parks would fall under parks as a way of protecting parks?
do we have security? We don't have a security column, so I guess it would have to.
I'm just.
No, yeah, no,
you
it
know.
would, something like that.
But the
would obviously-
library thing, we shouldn't stick on parks necessarily, but it can come out of some other category.
It's kind of legal, although we spend plenty of that too.
Yeah. So yeah, please, just before you pull the trigger on it, just give one or two of us a heads up of what you.
I'll call the company I dealt with in a minute, because we're not gonna need as many, usually their kits have at least 4 cameras, so I might be able to get it down, throw in buying 2 cameras, knock it down some. And the range at night is like 125 feet in the dark, so I think that would, from the top of the library, cover
Yep,
that whole fountain area.
You know, it wouldn't be a bad thing to put one on that pole and watch this building,
yep.
you know,
What
we're,
happened here? We had art stolen right off the wall here?
yeah, I mean, you know, so there's,
Is that Fred's?
there's,
Was it
there's
stolen or just,
Vandalized?
vandalized, I guess.
Exterior art, I assume.
I haven't talked to the artist.
I don't know about that. Huh.
Wasn't it Fred's?
shred, yeah.
I believe it was, yes.
Well,
But, you know, like I said, you know what I mean, if we're gonna spend a little bit of money and it's only a little bit more and it gets us exactly what we need, and,
Yep.
you know, then,
It is gratifying to be able to blame somebody that's directly responsible.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we got lucky last
To
time.
get your money back.
It was sheer luck last time that we
yeah,
figured out.
yeah,
what
and it
was.
was definitely a different group, and it's just sad, you know what I mean, it's you know, it's $100 worth of chemicals, it's a whole day's labor, you know?
Yeah.
You know, if it happens in the winter, we can't do it, you know, you gotta hire somebody to come in and, you know, or you live with it, and not a big fan.
All right, so,
Yeah.
so you'll just let one or two of us know what you decided and.
Yeah, I'll give something in mind.
Great. Thank you, Galen.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
We will move on to treasurer report. Mary's ready.
I have enough copies there for one for each trustee. What I wanted to show
Thank
you
you.
here is where our account balances are. The operating accounts are at the top of the page. Those are the balances as of 7/31. The thing I would point out there is that the monies that we have really to pay the bills are between the general fund and the tax account. There is just about $120,000 in there. The warrant today is just under 55,000. So that leaves us with $50,000 until we start getting all of our tax revenues in. So hopefully, we do not have a whole lot of bills coming in, but they generally come under your way, and there you are shaking your head. So we may want to take a look at expenses before we get into the September meeting to know what we've got available. The truth be told, we actually have a 33,000, I think it was, state payment that we've already received. It is not reflected in here because it is for the upcoming tax year, and it's the first installment of the municipal portion of the taxes. So that is available for current year expenses, but I'm kind of holding off on that until we get the rest of it. It does look to me like we can get through without having any borrowing, but just to not be surprised, there were a few very large bills, one $10,500 for some, was that painting or something?
That was cracked ceiling.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So is that done, or are
Yes.
there more of those?
Yeah, nothing
To
like
that
that, the next
extent.
ones would be like 2,500 next.
Okay, all right, so we should be okay. The other thing I wanted to show you on here is in the bottom portion is where all of our restricted funds are and what the fund balances are. These are at the end of the fiscal year. And I also wanted to show you through the course of the fiscal year, the interest that was accumulated on these, which a whole whopping $478. And you can also see that some of the funds that were voted to increase, those have been funded. The backhoe reserve, the tractor reserve,
truck reserve, the audit fund, and the contingency. We also used, through the course of the year, 32,000 and change from the firehouse reserve fund, and that was to build the stairway. We also used a whole $311 out of the depot reserve for costs that were not reimbursed by the state for the roof repairs. We have not at this point, and I'm not certain what you would want to do, we have not at this point dipped into the sidewalk reserve for the 10% of the scoping projects, which I could delineate, and you guys could do that. I actually was working on an analysis, but you get
That would
time
make
to
sense,
finish it
right?
to show you, so you can take a look and see whether you wanted to do that. Just as an aside, I would believe I've mentioned this before, but I'm a little concerned that our reserves are not sufficient in this village should something happen. For the fact that we have, in all the years we've been accumulating, we only have $40,000 for a new fire truck. I'm sure it's considerably more than that. I don't exactly know when a fire truck needs to be purchased, but that's kind of slim. And then both the truck reserve wouldn't even get us one truck, I suspect. Anyone could tell us better than that, but with $62,000 in the truck reserve and $11,000 in the tractor reserve.
No, it's definitely, they're meager. They're better than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is not a short-term plan
No,
to
but-
fix this, but it might behoove us to think about what we want to do
Absolutely.
in the longer run. The other thing I will report on in more detail next time, but just to let you know, there are 4, potentially 5 properties that will be going for tax sale, one of which has been warned, and Lori was so kind to already post it, and we're doing joining in with Shaftesbury on a property in District 1. Bennington is joining us in 3 of our other properties, potentially 4. One we're going to hold off on a while, so at the next meeting, all of those letters will go out from the attorneys to the property owners and anyone else with interest in that property, letting them know, and I'll keep you apprised of that. But the village and the school district need to collect their money.
Yeah.
Is there a date scheduled for that yet?
No, the North Bennington, the Shaftesbury property is
And
August 31st.
I'll say it's the end of this month.
Yes.
Is
There
that the-
are 2 that I know of, properties in our village that are in bank foreclosures. One has some significant delinquent taxes, and I keep trying to chase that, the person who called me originally about the attorney, to find out when we're going to get our money, because I was told that we would get our money on that one by the end of May or June. Well, we're past that. The other one doesn't have taxes, so taxes too. So we're down to actually kind of a reasonably good number from all prior years' delinquent taxes of $71,000, not including interest and penalty. So I'm hoping that will spur a significant collection of that through.
What's the property in Shaftesbury District 1?
It's, am I allowed to say the name?
It was Warren, wasn't it?
Yes, was it warned? I don't know. Well, it's on
The one you're talking
yes,
about?
the one.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
warned.
It's been in the newspaper and everything else. That is, I can tell you that the,
It doesn't have to be a name, but an address.
I'll
or-
tell you the address on that. It is on Perrin Road, but I don't actually have the address on this roster. It's in the one, it's hanging up though.
Okay.
So,
All right, anything else?
no, that's it for now.
I think now normal eliminate estimate us on, the truck and all that, and the wall, and
Well, I guess we'll start here, Bill. We need to- Please. We'll start on the wall. We've had it, we got our engineer, we got a core driller in, they core drilled. They got 2 successful holes, just what they wanted. We found some data from the other retaining wall project. I believe there was 4 more core drills there. So now we have six holes with data. It's in the engineer's hand right now, and we should hear sometime within the next month and coming back to us, and then a couple of proposed solutions, and then we'll sit down and brainstorm and then figure out where we're going from now.
did they hit rock pretty quick?
They did, 13 feet, and then the other one, the second one, they hit rock at, I want to say the 10 to 11, but there was a pretty good void right before the rock, and
Washed out.
It like a bell, and so we'll see what happens. But it has been paved over, and so we got that crack sealed, so we don't have the bump. And now we just hope and wait that we get it done without a problem and be able to hit all the wickets. Right now, we are right on schedule, and everything is going as was anticipated for timing and costs.
Stupid question, and I know it's dumb, but, any chance that, like several yards of flowable fill could, interlock all that?
Well, that's not a stupid question. That is a scenario. But you're gonna,
Still a lot of
you're gonna
excavating.
drill that hole like a Connect 4 board to put that in there. But yes, that is an option.
Even if it runs down through the wall and.
Yeah.
Because it fills it and sets.
Yeah, no, that's an option. I mean, and again, I encourage people to come to the meetings and express. We've looked, David knows, we've explored every option that's known to man. We've met with all kinds of people, from, a regular stonemason that would do it the way they did it 100 years ago, to a guy that's gonna drive nails in the ground, that are 30 foot long. We'll look at any scenario there is. Here's the end result is everybody thinks that they can fix it in their own way, but we have to have that engineer stamp on there saying this is a repair that is going to last.
Clearly.
We can't afford to have it fail and then come back. Now, we've talked to our village attorney about another aspect of this project, and he actually agrees with me. So once we get through the first thing, then we'll go to the next phase.
But everybody that we've talked to, they said you gotta have the data from the core samples. for
Before you do
any of them.
anything, sure.
They all say ours is the best system, but
You're right.
Good.
And then we'll see, it's gonna be a multi-agency repair. This is, it's gonna drastically affect some people for a little bit.
Just a big thank you to both you and Dave for tracking all that down. I know that was something that came up on top of everything else a few months ago, so.
Well, right now, it's just a sit and wait game.
Okay.
So,
What about this truck?
well, okay, I wanted to do the rest of it, but we'll go to the truck. So, we've been talking about replacing our truck for quite some time. And we finally got around to writing up a bid spec, did a lot of research, and I sent them out to all the dealers here in Bennington. Okay? And the reason you don't have the bids, you can look at them, but, we have a tendency to say numbers out loud, because one of the dealers actually bid the complete truck with all the gear that we gotta put on it. So that's why you just have the breakdown of what that is, and I'll show you, but we can't talk about it on the TV. So the first dealer, the truck was $31,999. There's our trade, and then there's the price. It meets most of the specs. There's not a single one of these trucks that meet exactly everything on the wish lists. Okay, but but it's written so everybody has a fair shot, okay? Then the second one, there's the price, there's the trade, and there's the bottom figure. And both of those are brand new, not here in town. And they're 8 to 10 and 10 to 12 weeks away from here, okay? Then the third one is, and actually for the specs, it actually meets most of them, but it's an actual pickup. So it has a box on it right now, and it actually has a gooseneck hitch in the back. But that truck is sitting there, you know, we could drive it tomorrow. You know,
How many miles on it?
Nothing, it's brand new.
Just last year's model.
Yeah,
So
well, it's still this year's model.
it hasn't hauled,
Or
it
it's this
hasn't
year's, it's not
hauled.
that right.
No,
Heavy.
no, I don't know, it was ordered and then it didn't get picked up. So it was, you know, so it's actually got some things that are good for us, like a locker rear end and, you know, some other
And-
things. So,
It actually came closer to meeting your spec than the other two.
right, I mean, it takes forever to sit there and go through them. Now, with that, on the third one, I actually sat on it with, and then I went through the bid spec with the bodies that we're sending out for bid and made sure that that truck could handle no matter who got it. And it can, you know, so, they did, bid a complete truck, and I can show you that, the next thing. And, there's a credit for the box. When you send it to the body guy, he's gonna take that off and he's gonna sell it to somebody else. And, you know, and then there's the hitch and the bumper and some other stuff that are not in there, so we would take that all back and then we would put it on our auction website and get rid of it. So there it is. So that's the truck that's here today. The fourth dealer, you know, spoke to him several times on the phone, but they never bothered bringing in a bid, and I've yet to hear from them, so.
So, can we talk about the complete?
No, we can't just yet, and
Okay, 'cause
because,
you haven't
well,
got the-
because the body, and again, trying to save us money, we bid the body stuff out separately. Okay, and we can talk about that in executive session without a problem.
Okay.
And I'll tell you where I think we'll lie. With option number 3 is we can still drive our truck today. I don't know option number 1 and option number 2, if we can.
It seems like you're steering towards,
Well, you know what, it's the cheapest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and it's not really a whole lot of difference between 1 and 2.
You're losing a year on your,
Right.
when you go to trade it in next time.
What we're gaining is it's 4 weeks to build it.
Yeah.
You know, a couple days for paperwork, and that one's here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can put our hands on it. Not exactly the color that I like, but it is what it is, you know.
I guess I just am, do you need us to accept one of these bids, or can
Well,
we kind of wait till we know what the whole picture is and?
No, because the next hinge dominoes off of this hinge. Okay, because you can't spec a flatbed if you don't know what platform you're putting it on. You follow what I'm saying?
Right. So they can't do the.
They can't do the next step until you know what it is. We could do that and go get each one and do the whole truck, but now we're paying them, everybody to
Yeah,
run it around, you know what I mean? It's kind of a pain, but it's the cheapest way out of this adventure, and we're, you know, we don't have a lot of frills.
Well, I would just be more comfortable knowing the whole picture instead of saying, okay, buy a truck that's useless to you until it has this other component that we don't know how much it's
Well,
gonna be.
I can fill you in on that.
That's what I'm saying, then we
Executive
could come out of executive and accept the bid, is what I'm,
session. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
up to,
that's what we should do.
yeah,
that's up to you.
okay.
But
So-
there's where it's down. So,
Great.
all right, paving, we've done our paving on Depot Street this year. We did it with the fabric, it all went just as we had hoped. Was a little later than normal, because we had a couple sewer issues on the streets, but the homeowners, you know, gladly did them. You know, it's certainly an out-of-pocket cost to them, but it worked out because now they have a street that's nicely paved. We had our building here cambered, so we're good here. at least to the street, you know, so we know that. We got that done. We've had some vandalism we just talked about earlier with the cameras. The park is, you know, it's unfortunate, you know, and we really like our, you know, the community to stay vigilant and notice if somebody's doing something, to call the cops. Because it's expensive. I mean, you know, $1,500 a whack to clean it off, or $3,000 now, you know, if we didn't do it ourselves. But it's not the job that the professionals did, you know, but you gotta stay out there somewhere. We did have some vandalism here with the art in the park, so it's coming closer to what we call the whole treasure of the village, so, you know, this is, and we got it in our parking lot. You know, somebody spray painted in our parking lot, so. So we gotta correct that, but hopefully we're gonna work on that. The fountain, we've got a little bit of problem with our filtration system, but those parts should be on their way free of charge. We worked that out. Kind of a pain to get in and out to fix it, but it is what it is. Road grading, we've done Park Street, we've calcium chlorided it, we've graded into Lake Perrin. You know, so we should be good for that for a while. We'll have to do it again before fall, but, you know, and I'm sure the bill came from Peckham for the calcium chloride. I mean, that's probably $1,000.
How do you like that new grader?
Yeah, it's a
I like it,
nice looking machine.
yeah.
Is it better than the other one?
Oh, it's not Dave, but it's got a couple of things, you know what I mean? And we're not gonna, I won't make your bust your bubble on that, but, you know, it's nothing that we can't work out. And, you know, it starts, it runs, it drives, it's nice.
That's great.
So, now we're talking about cat equipment, we got our backhoe. Our backhoe has developed a pretty good skip, and we can't get rid of it. I've talked to just about everybody in the vicinity that can help me with this. The thing really needs to go to CAT. We had CAT come look at it, they straightened out a lot of things, it got it 80% better. Again, Lori probably got that bill, but, you know, I think it was $400 just for the travel time for the guy to get here. We really need to send it to CAT.
What's wrong with it?
It's got a skip, it loses power, it smokes like a dream, it's just...
So it's bottom end,
you know what, who knows, if we send it to CAT, it's gonna be something, it's gonna be a $5 part. If we had the guy come here, it's gonna be a $5,000 part, because that's just the way it's gonna be, you know? And, you know, it matter that's $400 every time he comes here. So if he's gotta work on it for 2 or 3 days, you know, we either bring the Muhammad to the mountain or bring the mountain to Muhammad.
Well, that's a cost of taking it, sending it.
Oh, yeah.
where is that?
Clifton Park, it's the closest CAT dealer.
Nope. That's where
Do you have a means to get it there?
No, but I got a friend that will help us with one way. You know, we'll see, you know, we might have to eat the second, but we probably could get one way there. Pretty reasonable. But then we got our the other Ford is at the dealer with the instrument cluster shorted out, and that's $1,000. Oh, I mean, we got some, you know, it's the you know, driving stuff that's 10 years old. I mean, we and Bill have talked about it all the time. You know, the backhoe, I'm kind of bumming about, but we know we've got one more year, and then when that grader gets loose, then we're gonna go get a good one. We got a plan.
I think we should start using horses again. It's a lot cheaper.
You know, and I found something that a local contractor wants today that might come up, that might get some pavement on College Road. So, and they're driving to New York City to talk about it tomorrow. They're hot on it. So,
Well, we can talk about that.
but you know, we upped our maintenance budget. It sat there with Mary and went through. You know, we're gonna need it. You know, we can't drive the truck with not knowing how much fuel or water, oil and everything, and that's the spare that we're keeping. Now, when we go back to the truck with this on bidder 2 and 3, until if we go with if their body bid's close and we can build the truck right with them, we keep our truck until that one's done, and we have permission to sell it. So we could go to that auction website that I auctioned that tractor off of, and we can put it in, and if that figure gets raised, then it's more revenue for us. And they welcome that to do that. So, you know, we would set our reserve right there, you know what I mean? We're not gonna get rid of it for anything less. But in turn, you know, if it's 4 weeks, you know, you put it on, you leave it there for a couple of weeks, and to make a deal, you're only out of a truck for maybe 2 weeks, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, and our favorite leaf season's coming, so, you know, we gotta have it.
Anything else?
I'm sure of that, but I don't know. Can't think of it right now.
Anybody questions for Mr. Supervisor?
Oh, I do.
good.
Is there anything on this railroad building?
You mean
No,
graffiti?
the railroad building.
No, just use
No,
of it.
the next one, the railroad building, they're trying to work out a meeting with the uppity people to come down on Monday-ish. Maybe Monday's not a big deal anymore, but, so it's,
Whatever.
the cogs are slowly turning in
Good.
that.
It's not something that's gonna happen until next spring anyway, probably, right? I mean, good. Okay, DRB, I don't know anything about that other than I have yet to contact,
They had the hearing on the house to be built and the top of Prospect.
oh, they did?
Yeah. And that was, actually, there was absolutely no problems with it. But Dan said it was such a significant building that he just wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going on. 'Cause it
Which-
did-
But if the people who moved from Maryland and built a garage at the top of the hill,
Yeah,
They're building a house.
they're now gonna build a house.
in front of that or behind that?
In front,
Oh, okay.
where the old house was.
Yep. Gotcha. The pink, it was a pink or red house.
Red.
No, by the, you know, but by the statutes, if somebody asks for a permit and it meets all the regulations, then there's no need for it to go before the board, but Dan made an exception saying it's just such a significant building in the village that if anybody had a major, he'd like to get it out there. Which nobody does, it's a beautiful design,
Yep,
All right.
he's an architect, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very nice.
I had said that I've been away, but I'd said that I would contact John Lamson about being on the DRB board, replacing Cage.
Right.
And I will still do that. And I think he'll probably be willing, because he had said he was interested in something like that. Fire department? Water board? Crickets? Then there was the new business, the McCall Library, which we've already handled. Old business is our final item.
I have a couple of new business that just popped up.
Okay.
So they're really new.
What?
New.
It's really new. I have a letter from the Jim Sullivan, Bob House is the current commissioner, and his term has expired to the Bennington County Regional Commission. If you'd like to reappoint him, he'd like to run.
He would.
And if you want to do that
Might
tonight.
as well, I'd entertain.
I'll move we reappoint Bob Howell to that position.
I'd second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Lucky Bob. I was afraid you were gonna say he was gonna stop doing it.
Tonight, I got we received some donations in Bob McWaters' memory to be applied to McWaters Park.
Oh.
And I will give the funds to Mary, and I'd be happy to write a thank you letter
That'd be great.
if you'd like.
Be nice.
So there's some way you can keep that we can put it in parks, but be a separate line item or something?
Yeah, that would
Yeah, it also comes at a good time because we do have, Ray Molyneux is designing
Oh, yes.
and making a sign.
Yeah.
So we could earmark it to go toward that as well, because that would be it. His name is on that, so it'd be
That'd be
kind of a
great.
fitting, yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Laura. Old business. Janice, you want to mention, well, it's not old bit, well, it is, next month, the woman coming,
Oh, I'll have to remember her name now.
Allison Lansdale.
Langsdale.
Except she got married.
Married, I know. We had a request from Allison Langsdale, who's the emergency management point person for the BCRC, who wanted to come to our meeting. And, boy, thanks, Matthew. I had meant to reread her email on which aspect of emergency management she was coming. It was, it had something to do with grants or filing a plan for some aspect of emergency management, but I'll have to send an email out. So she'll be here at the September meeting.
Would that qualify, if we needed to hire somebody to help us with that, would that qualify for a grant on the,
I don't know. I mean, I'm expecting that she'll,
okay.
I just had an email with her, so I didn't have a conversation
Those
about
grants
it.
are due dates coming.
Would like to talk to the village about starting work on a hazard mitigation plan.
Okay.
We've received a grant to complete the plans for North Bennington
Okay.
and Old Bennington, and wanted to make sure the village knows what a hazard
Very good.
mitigation plan is, and why it's important to have one, and what input would be needed from the village. She would also invite a representative from Old Bennington to join the meeting, so that, since it's under the same grant, I guess, they'll have a separate plan, but theirs will be less involved. Janice said she was going to be maybe back by then, maybe not.
I'll be
Either way,
coming back, yeah. So-
just let us know that, you know, we can, it'd be great if you're here. But I don't think we should delay it for another month either, so. And I think maybe, Laura, you would make sure that Ed was at such a meeting?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else that we would think might, he's kind of our go-to guy for, I don't really know what a hazard mitigation plan is, I'll freely
Well, that's
admit.
why we need to be educated.
Yeah, that's right. And it's great, there's a grant.
Yep.
Because I know the municipal planning grants are coming up that if it weren't funded, we could get funding for it.
When do we need to be thinking about,
Well, if this is funded, then.
no, one of our plan, either our town plan or the.
Oh, I don't know when that's due. The village plan, 5-year
Seems like
plan?
it might have a year yet, or something. Okay, any other old business?
I'll look that up.
Then I would move to go into executive for legal and contract.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we'll come out after this probably and accept one of these bids for the truck. Thanks, everybody.
And that-
Thanks, Galen.
it's
Good to see you.
insurance, right?